Hey there, traders. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group with your end of day recap from Monday, and this will be a quick one today. There wasn't much going on today. I think it was, I would say, fairly positive that we did not break down today. We explored some lower levels in the S&P and kind of came back. We didn't really reclaim anything all that important, but I would say a small win at this point. We didn't get into value for the week, which is what I talked about pre-market, something that I'm looking for us to do. But we traded in a pretty tight range. You could see that we did go lower right around 10 o'clock and then kind of held for the majority of the day. Qs were also, kind of same thing. Qs were down a little bit more. I think they were down about 70, 80 basis points. So they came back to almost completely flat on the day. So I was really kind of looking for. We're going to talk about this midday today to see if we could have a reversal day where we start the day lower and end up positive. So I would say overall small win today for us to only be down 10 basis points for the Qs or NQ futures. Qs I think were about the same as well. Nothing really great to kind of hang your hat on today. Just the fact that we didn't go lower at this point is almost is a good thing for now. Small caps as well. Small caps have been under pressure. Again, I was looking for them to kind of reverse and go positive. Almost. I mean, we did get back to basically, being flat. A couple things that we noticed was that we noticed were that we held last week's lows. It was pretty darn close, but we got back and we touched that line that I also have drawn, which is kind of the breakout area for small caps. So a couple people bought on the lows today. I think Apple was interesting on the lows today. It finished just down 18 basis points. Was down about a percentage and a quarter. So, things kind of got up to the bottom of value and just didn't have the power to get through, which we still haven't really seen one of those days yet where we start below value and then get back into value and actually go higher. So we just don't have enough force, it feels like, or enough buying to do it yet. Facebook actually did get in value. We saw a little bit of calls in Netflix, all the way up here. Same thing with Qs. We saw Q's weekly calls being purchased, right around the open of the day. So, I would say a little bit of a challenge today. Where the strength remains is the Chinese internet names. They're up 2%. Wuba had earnings today and a real nice price reaction there. So this group still has some momentum. Wuba finished up 20% on the day, so up $10. Lovely. We'll see what happens with BZUN, and they report after the close today. I'm holding a small position into earnings. We'll see how that goes. I did take off half my position off for profits. Momo, another Chinese internet name, reports tomorrow morning. This should be an interesting as well. This is like the Chinese Tinder. So BZUN is more, they help businesses kind of set up their platform, like their web platform. So that one I'm more interested in. Momo I think will be fun to watch, but I think BZUN, and I've got small positions in both these names. What else? A couple other things that look like, going back to the kind of the risk off areas. The yen tried to go higher a couple times today. The value area is really kind of showing their merit here. They could not get outside of value for the day. They tried twice. The yen could not do it. Gold also looks like it was trying to push higher today, but just 37 basis points. We're still right at that 1300 level. So, until we really break 1300, I think it's a no touch, even though it's getting really, really close. We did see more gold buying today. GLD, there's 20,000 of the SEP 144 contracts that happened. So I'm looking at gold futures, but you can see GLD 144 is quite a ways up there. So, you're looking at a move. I can't even get up there. So, this to me is more of a trade. I mean, they're going, and these aren't this September's; they are next September's. That's why they cost 220. But as somebody thinking that gold goes up, could go up, longer term, obviously. A couple of trades notable, I would say, in option activity. I would say this was kind of notable. There was a couple different MLPs. The the AMLP ETF. This is an ETF based on MLPs. Really, really oversold at this point. You can see how the whole group is. Really broke down and went from 12 bucks to 10.50. The RSI on this thing is a 13. So if you don't want to play the individual names, we saw BWP December calls going up. This is a pretty low price stock. This was what about $300,000 in premium and option premium. PAA also saw November calls, and then PAGP we saw October calls in that one. So, if you don't want to play the individual names, I think there's also some ETE that also went up as well. Some short dated stuff, some weekly stuff going up in ETE, ETP. Also more calls. So they're buying the dip. They're trying to buy the dip. Thinking that it's oversold, which it is, and due for a bounce. I mean, a 13 RSI, that's almost makes me want to try a bounce in energy. I've avoided this group all year long, so it's tempting to see this get that oversold. So a 13, it is primed for a bounce, maybe up to 11 bucks, maybe 50 cents. So we'll see. I would say keep an eye on the group, but way in a downtrend. I would say worthy of a bounce. That's about it. A couple other names that were interesting. There was some weekly stuff and Netflix. This is actually September 1st, but some JD.com went up. There's a couple other names that were some weekly paper going up. I think the Qs were also weekly as well. Yeah, the Qs were weekly. MIK September 20 calls, so a retailer underneath. This name is underneath the 200-day moving average. TJX looks interesting to me. September 72.5 calls went up. This is a name that had good earnings. Same thing with Ross Stores. Ross Stores reacted to their earnings. TJX did not. So I kind of see why somebody's playing earnings there. TJX is still underneath the 200-day moving average, but quite a distance to go from about 70 bucks to about 75 to the 200-day moving average. So kind of looks like a reverse head and shoulders forming here. I don't think that's the worst trade in the world. For September for a short bounce. I think definitely a name to keep an eye on. What else was on the list for today? Some buying in the metal space a little bit. Some valet calls that went up. Iron ore futures continue to be very strong. There was some AKS. Both this one just continued to melt down today. With had my eye on U.S. Steel today. Really no entry. FCX was strong today on the back of copper. So the metals continue to be pretty strong. Look at how copper finished for the day. So there are some areas that are in uptrends and really moving up. A lot of the metal, in the individual metal names. Or individual metal itself, metal itself, I should say, copper and zinc making new moves. And then the Chinese internets were okay. Biotech actually ended up on the day too. XBI ended up 0.5%. So some things that kind of woke up a little bit. Home Depot was a real nice trade today that a couple people caught in the room. XHB. Is another group that's gotten pretty beaten up from having a real nice 2017. Toll Brothers reports tomorrow morning. I actually tried to put on a trade for earnings. I did not get filled. I was pretty stubborn about the price. Wasn't willing to pay up, but Toll Brothers could be an interesting one tomorrow. If they have a great quarter, maybe it gets this group going that has seen a lot of call buying in the past months, but has just moved down. I like DHI better than anything else, so it could be a name to play if Toll puts out a strong report. So we'll have to see. So that's it for today. I would just summarize and say. Really nice that we kind of came back at the end of the day. May set up for a tradable bounce for tomorrow. That's kind of what I would be looking for. Again, not anything real powerful, but at least to start the day, go lower, and to come back and actually edge up a little bit. I would say a little bit of progress made for the overall market. So that's it. See you guys back in the trading room tomorrow, bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a great night. Go Giants.